Hello, and welcome back to Armbar Audio, part two of our doubleheader today. My name is Tim Farley. This is my trusted companion,
John Kearns.
and today we have an indie starlet, an up-and-comer on the women's wrestling scene, in the wrestling scene altogether. Her name is Tenacious Trixie. Trixie, how you doing?
I'm really good. Thanks. You gave me quite the introduction there.
Oh well, I was very impressed seeing you on the Women's Revolution tag team tournament, the tournament for tomorrow. Um, I saw you and you took a hell of a beating, and and you sold really well, and I was taken with um, your your look, and I was like, wow, this is an androgynous superhero if I've ever saw one. Would you say that
Thank
that's
you.
accurate?
Yeah, totally. That's definitely what I go for in my life in general and with wrestling as well. My gear is actually Nightwing inspired, so it is inspired from a dude superhero.
Well, that's okay. Whenever I was growing up, there was a there was a Disney show called like Angelica, something I forget, but like my uncle took me and my sister to shop for toys for Christmas that year, and I wanted a doll, or not a doll, but
Oh,
like it was like a stuffed animal of a girl or whatever. And my uncle, who is he's homosexual, so he didn't really care, and he was like,
okay.
okay. And then whenever I had it, I kind of felt weird a little, but then I was like, whatever. I like what I like. I don't care.
Yeah,
I,
that's a
I,
great attitude to have.
I felt that at a young age. So you wearing Nightwing gear just made me pop even harder because I was like, Nightwing's the shit. You should get
It's
some
my
dude.
favorite, so.
You should start tagging with a dude and have him dress like Starfire.
Oh my gosh, that would be so much fun. I
Yeah.
don't know how many dudes would go for that though.
I don't know. Somebody should though. You know what I mean?
I could probably find someone.
You gotta find somebody with really big pecs though.
Yeah. Yeah, because like if we're gonna do like the sort of like superhero boob window thing
Uh,
going on.
well, Starfire is very unlike Raven. She's very endowed, and they
Right.
and they make sure you know that. Um,
That is true.
so, what got you into pro wrestling?
My little brother did actually. He started watching and sort of dragged me into it, and at first I was like, "This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen." And then I was watching and I was like, "Okay, this is kind of cool." And then like 3 months after I started watching, I was like, "I can do this. I want to do this."
That's
And
wild.
then my brother actually started training before me, but he's a bit younger than me, so he wasn't able. Much to his chagrin, I debuted first, even though I started training after him.
Yeah, that's the. Unfortunately, we're not from the UK. We can't start at 12 years old.
Yeah.
So, what was he watching at the time? WWE or
That's
like?
where it started, yeah. And then from to New Japan, and then Lucha Underground, and then Progress.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So this is a fairly new venture, and you've gotten quite the start.
Yeah, we definitely go hard in my family.
Yeah, I mean, getting in with Lufisto in that amount of time is really awesome.
Yeah, her and her husband actually run a promotion like 15 minutes down the road from where me and my family live. So we were actually going to shows there that they were running. And we started like asking around, like, do you need any help with the shows? We'd love to help set up and stuff like that. And they were like, we train, right?
Yeah.
We were like, oh, okay.
What's the promotion called?
ACW, Atomic Championship Wrestling.
Yes. When I was looking up stuff, I found that out. There's there's a girl that you should definitely wrestle there or somewhere. In she's like real demonic. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Is she taller or is she smaller?
I think she's thick, not heavy.
Casey Dillon?
Yeah.
I've wrestled her a couple times,
Oh,
actually.
I definitely need to see that because I think the two personas would be a great face heel type of situation. Um, yeah, that's awesome. Was that for Atomic as
Yeah.
well?
Yep.
Sweet.
Both. Have I wrestled her? I've worked her either 2 or 3 times, and they were all at Atomic.
Sweet. I gotta check that out because I saw that and I was like, yo, they need to wrestle now.
Yeah.
Oh, it already happened,
Good
Tim.
instincts, apparently.
So, you got any questions, John?
Well, if we're gonna keep talking about wrestling, what do you have anybody maybe that you haven't gotten to work with yet that you'd like to?
Oh, geez. There are a couple people. Are you familiar with the Fallen Flower Kikyo?
I've heard the name.
Yeah, I haven't, but Tim probably has.
I've run into her a couple times. Like, we've been like in the same places because of like I was doing like Rise seminars or whatever.
Yes. Yes, that's how I heard the name.
I'd like to work her, and then like, I mean, gosh, there's
It
actually
is
far down the road.
So good. Like,
Yeah.
there was a WWR show, WWR versus the World, and
Okay.
I don't usually dislike anything wrestling wise, but I'll point out some things I really liked or I didn't find too good, and I felt her match on that show was a standout. So like, yeah, Thunder Rosa and you would be pretty awesome. She was wrestling a younger, talented lady as well. I forget her opponent's name, but you could tell she was keeping her safe and what do they call that? Leading the dance, I guess. And it was just really good. It didn't make.
Yeah, you can like if you're in the ring with a really like experienced girl, like your match comes out really well if they're, working with you.
Yeah. Actually, Lufisto's match on that show, Lufisto was great, but her opponent didn't do it for me. But that's how life goes. So who did you see that inspired you to be a wrestler, or was it just wrestling in general? You were just like, this is awesome, like the stories, or was there like a particular feud or a persona that enthralled you?
Well, I love the storytelling. That's my favorite part of it. But the moment I was sitting in front of the TV and actually went, I can do, what I just saw these wrestlers do. I could physically pull that off. I think I could do this. I was watching Chris Jericho.
Yes. The GOAT.
It was
Greatest of all time.
It was right before he started his that crazy friendship with Kevin Owens. It was before that.
Okay.
But not too far before that.
So it was like
recently.
So it was like Y2AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice stuff.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho is my favorite personally of all time because he's so versatile. He can do any type of match. He can pull off any type of character. He reinvents himself over and over, and it's just crazy to me. So to hear you say that just makes me like you more. So.
Aw. And then the other big one would be Candice LeRae.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
So there's
Candy
two
wrestling.
like I can do this, or like there's somebody that like looks like me and is like my size and can do this and can stand up with the boys and
Yeah, she stood up with the boys a lot more than she stood up with the girls.
yeah.
Have you wrestled a male yet?
Not outside of training.
Do you want to?
I'm not opposed to it. If the opportunity comes up, I'd do it.
How do you feel about intergender wrestling?
For the most part, I'm totally for it. Like, I absolutely feel like in my life, I want to be like, anything the guys can do, I can do too.
Right.
But it does, I want it to make sense in the stories. I want it to make sense as far as the promotion. Like, I don't want it to just be thrown in to be like, hey, we do intergender.
Right. I think there's two schools of thought in the positive aspect. The one is we just do intergender, and that comes from like these ladies can wrestle men and withhold themselves, and to basically say there's no male wrestler, there's no female, just wrestler.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, I can understand that. But what you're saying, I agree with more so. The storytelling must make sense for, I would say, a mainstream audience to understand it, and it would make it better all around. Like in Lucha Underground, as you said you watch, they make female versus male matches understandable. A lot of people don't think that WWE has ever done it, but they have. Sable beat Mark Marrow.
Yeah, and
Lita.
And China was the Intercontinental Champion for a short time.
Yeah. So I mean,
not like everything in the kitchen sink type of match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean like, so a lot of people like to say that WWE has never done it. They have done it in certain occasions where it makes sense storyline-wise.
And at the same time, it is a very hot-button subject right now.
Oh yeah, because
there are a lot of people that just don't think it has a place.
Well, those
and
people.
I don't understand that.
You don't?
I don't.
Well, it's about domestic abuse.
I mean, I get that
because
part of it.
I think that's partially true. I think that's partially an excuse too.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
say that when they're really just like, you don't want to see the girls with the boys.
Well, I see it from this perspective. I'm 30 years old, right? So if I'm watching wrestling, I obviously know what I'm watching. As opposed to a kid turns on something and sees it and goes, oh, okay, well, that girl in class who may have been bullying me, or a girl sees it and sees like, you know what I mean? Or like saying it's okay. I mean, domestic violence, if any older person watches intergender wrestling and thinks it's okay to hit their wife or vice versa, then they're just...
Wrestling's not the problem. Though.
Yeah, wrestling's not the problem. But like with the younger people, I think that's where it comes in.
Yeah.
But yeah, also, there's a lot of people who say, I don't want to see a girl and a guy. I want to see the guy and the guy because this is tradition. Tradition rules. And
traditions for old people.
Traditions for old people. They can go on the WWE network and watch AWA and all that other shit.
Yeah.
So, what intergender storyline did you like that you've seen? Like, you mentioned Candice LeRae. A lot of her career was intergender. Did you ever get captivated by one of her matches with as the forget the tag team name? the cutest tag team ever, or something like that, with Joey
Oh, her
Ryan.
and Joey.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, I was never able to like follow them consistently enough to like get like a whole story.
Right.
It was just matches here and there. And of course, I'm gonna say the one that everyone knows, but their hardcore match with the Bucks.
Oh, that was a good
Yeah.
one. And there's one from PWG. They wrestled the Addiction, or as they go now, SCU, and that match is fantastic.
I think I've seen it. I'm not sure, but I think I have.
Yeah. So let's go into some nerd stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your outfit is Nightwing inspired. Who is your favorite Robin?
Oh, is that even a question?
Right.
Come on, it's gotta be Dick.
But why though?
Well, I mean, when I was like growing up, all the Batman and Robin cartoons and the Teen Titans was on, so like that was all with Dick rather than Jason or Tim, although they did come in at later points. But even then, just like I like his attitude more. I like his character more. I think he's fun.
Yeah.
I think he's a little more lighthearted than the rest of the Bat family.
Yeah, he's I would say he's the most like Bruce, but a little bit more lighthearted.
He's Bruce, but with like a sense of humor.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas
That I can agree.
I don't really know much about Tim Drake, but Jason is like the anti-hero killer type, and Damian.
Yeah, is Jason Todd the one that became Red Hood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Damian has that split personality where he's trying to figure out who he is, with the Al Ghul blood in him and the Wayne blood in him, which I find very interesting. But
I really like the way the direction they're taking him in like the Super Sons comics, where he's teaming up with Clark's son. And
yeah,
like,
I haven't read any. I haven't read any of those.
It's a lot of fun.
Have you read any of the new Teen Titans?
No, I haven't. I've kind of fallen behind on some of my comic book reading.
Me too. I go through phases, you know, like I'll be like, oh, comic books. I remember I like those, and then I'll get a bunch, and then I'll be like, oh, video games. That's okay. You know, wrestling's always at the top,
Do the same thing.
Yeah.
and then everything else just kind of fluctuates.
Well, that's like me, where I just posted on Facebook the other day, and I was like, I used to read all the time, and at some point I stopped, and I don't know why. So I asked for like book recommendations from people.
Yeah. But
I ran out of time. That's why I stopped reading. I've got stacks of books that I'm trying to get through, and it's slow going anymore.
Right.
for me, it really comes down to I wake up, I go to work, hey, there's wrestling.
Yep.
And then like if I have days off, I'm like, I don't have to watch wrestling today. I could put on anime, or I could see what the latest DC animated film is, or something like that. Like that was another question I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
You told me that you grew up on DC comics and everything. How do you feel about the DC movies? And I don't mean the old Batmans, the Christopher Nolan ones, or anything like that.
You mean the new ones with Affleck and Henry Cavill? And,
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically started at Man of Steel.
I have mixed feelings. I actually am in the camp that really liked Man of Steel.
Man of Steel was awesome. It
thought-
made me a
yeah.
Superman fan.
I thought that was a really good take on Superman. It was a little bit darker, but it stayed, I think, in keeping with his character and everything. I wanted to like Batman versus Superman.
Well,
I really wanted to like it.
I think that they get so like
Batman vs Superman would have been a perfect movie if none of the dream sequences were involved in
I
any
agree.
way.
I totally agree, because if you
because
don't
there was
know about it,
yeah, and
you don't know what it is.
and there was no clear cut that told you we're in a dream now.
Yeah, or why it was there.
Right.
And like another thing with Batman versus Superman, I admire it that they did not feel the need to play out the origin story
Right.
again. But I think they jumped a little too far into the middle. Like, as far as what's going on with Bruce and why is he so angry and hopeless, more than usual anyway. And, like,
Right.
what's going on with that Robin suit that we saw for 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, I think they may have jumped a little too far ahead.
Well, I think the Robin suit will eventually be given its time. Either
No,
in
I hope so. I don't know about the future of this franchise, man.
I don't know.
well, the thing is, see, I see it as like, I thought Man of Steel was good. Batman vs Superman wasn't as bad as everyone said it was. Same with
But it was
Suicide
not
Squad.
great.
Yeah, same with Suicide Squad. The
I
only
actually was like, I liked more of Suicide Squad than I
did.
disliked. I thought it was a really fun movie. It wasn't perfect, but I thought it was fun.
I agree. The only issue I have is that the Joker will never save Harley Quinn.
No.
He doesn't care. He doesn't love
If he
anyone.
uses her, he'll save her.
She loves him. He doesn't love anyone.
But he knows he has a valuable pawn in Harley.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but he risked his own life to get her, and they played up this whole romantic storyline, and it's just not. It doesn't jive with me, Batman fan. Like,
That's fair.
but aside from that, I actually really liked that movie. I thought Wonder Woman was fantastic.
Yeah. Have you seen
Wonder Woman
Aquaman
was
yet?
phenomenal. I can't find anything to complain about.
I can't either.
Awakman is
Aquaman was
awesome
really good.
too, and I would say.
I thought Aquaman was mostly good. I thought the writing was a little bit inconsistent. To the
It
point where
was.
like
Yeah.
so cheesy at points.
I feel like Aquaman.
The immersion.
Aquaman was to me DC's Ragnarok,
Yep.
where they tried to go funny with it.
They tried to make it their Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Right.
But
I mean,
me,
like
I feel like
Arthur's one of my favorites too. Arthur and Mira are my favorites as well, and I
Yeah.
thought as far as the franchise went, they did them good.
Right.
And I feel a little biased when I talk about this type of stuff because I've always been more of a Marvel person.
I've always been
Okay.
more DC.
Yeah. Like, to me, there's nothing that I'm as excited for other than anything wrestling related as Infinity War Part 2.
Well, here's the thing. The only Marvel stuff I liked as a kid was X-Men and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I didn't like the idea of Iron Man because I felt he was like a lame Bruce Wayne. Instead of learning how to fight, he just made stuff.
Iron Man
I
feels the
never
same way about
understood
Bruce.
patriotism. Like, I've never understood that feeling.
Right.
So I wasn't a Captain America fan. And the Hulk was just a one, okay, he turns into something and that's it.
Well, no,
But
yeah.
then whenever they started doing the movies,
Yeah.
that brought me into liking those characters.
Mhm.
And with a beast like Disney behind,
Right.
But
So,
I was going to say, Trixie, I think that with the beast of Disney behind Marvel, I think they pay some people to crap on DC. Because I don't think
I don't pretend to know what's going on
right.
there, but I think DC's probably got the cards stacked against them right now. But their animated stuff is consistently good,
yes.
and their comic books are consistently better than Marvel's. Marvel has a bad habit of running their own comics into the ground.
yeah.
I agree.
DC has better animated shows and better regular TV shows.
Yes.
Also.
I love the Flash.
Yeah.
I liked the Flash at first. It got too arrowy for me.
It hasn't gotten there for me yet because I dropped Arrow, so I know what you mean.
I really like Gotham.
I haven't.
I love Gotham.
I always have.
Love Gotham.
Yeah.
I think it's like the best thing on TV ever right now.
I want to start really diving into it. Callie and I started watching it, and we just, sometimes you just stop for no reason at all. And
yeah. Are there any other?
The season's a little shaky. I don't think they thought they were going to get more than one season.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think so either.
Really picks up.
Are there any other regular TV shows that you like?
What have I been watching? I tend to like binge whatever drops a full season on like Netflix or Hulu.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
So do you like Stranger Things?
Oh, I love Stranger Things.
Stranger Things is awesome. I cannot wait till July 4th.
I loved Sabrina, actually. I really liked Netflix's Sabrina.
I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard great things.
Yeah, my shows are...
If you read and liked The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, you'll probably dig the TV show.
Cool. Yeah, my two favorite shows are Always Sunny and Frasier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I am not the biggest Always Sunny fan. I'll watch it when it's on, but I love Frasier. Me and my mom watched the whole thing.
It's funny when I tell people that, they always say, oh, that's like the two extreme opposite ends of the comedy spectrum.
Yeah.
It is. It really is. So, who do you see as females in the business that you would look up to, or inspire you?
Well, I mean, Mephisto, definitely.
Right, of course.
Oh gosh. Bull Nakano is a big inspiration, actually. I keep pulling out all these like heels that have inspired me.
Right.
I feel like I should try to like find a face in here somewhere.
Well, you did say Candice LeRae. She was a face. She's a face. And the thing with heels is they get to do more.
Mm-hmm.
They get to do more moves. They get to do more selling. They get to do more with their character than a baby face. So I understand why you would say so many heels. I think that's why older fans like them so much.
I've always been more attracted to heel wrestlers. I mean, my favorite's Jericho. He's never been full face ever.
Not full.
No, never.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's a hard question because, like, I mean, I think like all the girls in this business are like they're such strong people, and there's so many talented women, and it's just like it's not like I want to be like one of them specifically. I just want to be like them. Like I want to be one of those people that like
be in with
I
it.
entertain people, and I get that same level of like charisma and stuff that they have.
Right, in your own way. I understand. Where have you worked outside of Atomic and the one women's wrestling revolution show I seen?
I did work with Mephisto at Beyond on Please Come Back.
Okay.
And I worked a couple Rise shows, and I had one or two Shimmer Dark matches.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very cool.
You know, I love Shimmer, but I don't love that it takes them 3 years to produce a DVD.
That seems to be the consensus.
I mean, like, they have such great cards for women's wrestling, but if I go to their website, the latest thing I could see is Heidi Lovelace and Evie, who are now have been under contract to WWE for like 2 years. Wrestling Courtney Rush, who's Rosemary. You know what I mean?
Right.
So They need, like, I don't know if they have a streaming service, but they need one bad. But that's the only thing I could
know
say.
a lot of people who would agree with you about that.
Yeah.
Because Shimmer's fantastic. And Rise, I've watched the Rise of the Knockouts for Impact, and that's where I got to see a lot of the females who wrestle for Women's Wrestling Revolution. What are some promotions you would love to wrestle at?
I think like a long-term goal for me to eventually I would love to work Progress.
Wow. I didn't think that would be your first.
Far into the future.
That's an interesting first pick. I like it though. I thought you would go.
I consistently like their shows. I consistently like the talent they have, and it just seems like even Jim Smallman seems super cool.
Oh hell yeah!
It's something I would love to do.
Yeah, their shows are fantastic. Jim Smallman's fantastic.
Right.
And I like that answer. I was thinking you were gonna say Stardom, or.
Oh, that would be fantastic, but that's like the logistics of that, being in school and everything.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Wanting to go over to Japan, it's like that would be years from now for me.
Well, what do you go to school for? What are you studying?
Psychology.
Nice.
Very cool. My cousin is currently at Mansfield University for a forensics psychology.
Oh, nice.
I studied some psychology. I was more of a sociology major.
Okay, I did a little bit of sociology, but psych is definitely my wheelhouse.
Yeah, I did like Psych 101 and the family, like from neonate to adult. I forget what the course is called.
Developmental.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, me and the professor was awesome, and cause like he got sick for like a week, so I stopped going, so I failed the class, and then
Oh my gosh.
I took the class again, and he was like, "Mr. Farley, you're back," and I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" and he was like, "If I get sick, don't stop coming," and I was like, "Okay," so I didn't stop coming, and I passed with like a B or an A or something like that. And then I saw him in the liquor store. So and he was telling me and my friend at the time how to make a mint and julep. So we went home and we had a mortar and pestle with mint and this hard whiskey, and we were not ready for this shit. And I was just like, this is definitely an old man drink. I can't do this.
That's how I feel about old fashions.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
I was not ready the first time somebody handed me one.
Oh man. So as we wind this down, where can everybody find you? Do you have any upcoming show plug? Anything like that?
I am always at Atomic Championship Wrestling. I am always there. I don't think I've missed a show since I debuted. Our next one is on February 2nd. Definitely check us out. And we do have a streaming service at Atomic.
Fantastic.
So there's lots of great, we run 50-50. Half the matches are men's matches, half the matches are women's matches. So there's plenty of great wrestling if you're into that.
Of course.
As of right now, that's like my only thing I have going for sure.
Right.
And then, social media is the best place to find me, even though I'm kind of bad at social media.
I think you're fantastic.
Oh, well, thank you. I've been told by every veteran I've encountered, they're like, you need to do more.
Oh,
you need to
well.
be more active. You need to get on top of that.
Well, I'm glad we could help. Hopefully this helps you. And when I said I fantastic. That's because you're right here. I mean, the veterans are probably right, but hey, tell them next time I did a podcast. So anyway, um, it was a pleasure to not only talk to you today, but through our DMs and such. You are such a lovely human being. I can't wait to see where your career takes you. I sincerely hope that you get to Wrestle for Progress, more for Shimmer, more for Rise, and whenever you get out of school, if you want to do the Japanese thing, go for it, because I think the sky's the limit for you.
Oh, thank you. It was great to talk to you guys too. This has been so much fun.
Yes, absolutely. Now, get some rest, because that second shift is coming.
Oh yeah.
All right, Trixie, thank you.
Thank you guys.
So that was Tenacious Trixie Tash.
I think she's going to be somebody in the outside of the indie wrestling world. She's going to go places.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
From the few matches that I've seen, I actually looked her up on YouTube, and they have some Atomic Wrestling stuff on there.
I did see that.
And
I didn't watch yet. But
I was watching a little bit. I wouldn't be super shocked if she was in a future Mae Young Classic, possibly.
I agree. I think the world of her. And not just because she did our show. Like, legit. I think she's awesome.
And she loves games and comic books.
Right.
So.
Oh, I didn't get to talk anime with her, but maybe she'll be on again another day. So, Trixie, if you're still watching this, or if you plan on watching this, thank you so much. As we do every time, wherever you are in the world, whether it is morning, noon, or night, you have a great one, and peace and love. Yeah.